Hello and once again to Scope of Life. My name is Egwin. Today we're running through the 7th exercise of the Baduan Jin set. 7th exercise works on the liver and a little bit on the gallbladder. In traditional Chinese medicine there is this concept of combined organs, and in this case the liver would represent the yin aspect and the gallbladder would represent the yang aspect of the wood element in traditional Chinese medicine. Now, I'm running through the whole set of movements right now, so you can see it. This time it's called clenching the fist to the left and to the right, sometimes clenching the fist and sparkling with the eyes. We'll talk about that a little later. Still, we are at the beginner's tutorial series, and so I'm gonna run you through the basic movement pattern right now. Starting from the top, come to the side. Coming back to the middle. You might have noticed we had this step a couple of times already, so no big deal here. Once again, turning to the right, stepping to the side. Make sure that the step is not a falling into as always, but rather than the step is just taken aside with no weight on it, so that you're able to pull it back at any given time, as long as you haven't shifted your weight over there. From this position, sinking down, notice the arms once again, they fan out, I come out and back into my hip area here. Both with a slight fist, with a very easy fist, resting around my pelvic area here on the left and on the right. Well, the left not so much resting, because the left instantly starts to come up a little further and to push back out. Now you've seen there is a small hip movement there. I'm gonna go over that right now. We step out, fan out with the arms, bring the arms in. And now as we bring the arms in, turn the hip a little bit to the left. My weight is still pretty much in the center between my legs. Turn to the left, and from this position, just let your pelvis, your hip, turn back to the front. And by doing so, your left arm will extend naturally to the side. Once again, even though there is a point with a lot of tension in this movement at the end, to bring the arm into the position where the tension actually happens afterwards, that's done once again with the least amount of muscular tension and work humanly possible. So from this position, fan out, step aside, come into your body, turn a little bit to the left, bring up the left arm so that it's actually loaded like you spring once again, and when you release your pelvis, naturally, your left shoulder will push a little bit to this side. The only thing that you do is you tell your arm to stay on this side rather than come to the front. So you tell your arm to come completely to the side, and that's exactly what we want. And out there. Now, when your structure is completely leveled, when you're standing comfortably between your legs, when your body is completely straight and upright, now is it that at the end of the movement we have a compression, we have a tension of all muscles that you can find in your body. Okay, Gonna run you through that again. Fanning out, stepping aside, coming into my body, turning the hip a little further, bringing the left arm up, pushing the left arm out. Notice that at the end it twists so that my fist opening is actually facing downwards now. Right fist still facing up, left fist facing down, so the opening of the palm. And in this position, the head is still turned to the left side. In this position, now you tense all the muscles in the body for a short moment, and then you release again and come back to the center. It's very important that this tensional moment is only one and release, one pulsation, and not something that builds with the movement, so not something that already starts a lot earlier. That doesn't do any good. Yeah? What we want is move all our joints with as much ease as possible, and still in the end give this tensional impulse, this yang impulse that will compress the joints, that will work on the muscles, and that will actually have this energizing effect on the body. But an energizing effect, tension will only ever have if it's released at some point again. Building up tension, building up tension, building up tension stores energy. It doesn't give you any energy. So being completely relaxed and loose, coming out, building up tension and releasing it right at the end. That's actually what we're looking for. That's this pumping motion that will give you energy, that will bring you up to speed. Okay, once again, I show you this movement to the left side and then the transition to the right side while still having the step on the left. Coming down, fanning out, bring the arms into the body, turning to the left, turning back to the front, extending the arm. Now tension, releasing. Coming up with my right arm, extending, tension, release. Opening the fingers, coming back to the middle, let the arms drop down. Step to the right, fanning out. Come into the body, turning the hip a little further, this time to the right. Position of the arm. Tension, release. Coming up on the left side. Pushing out. Tension, release. Coming back to the center and standing right back up. There are a couple of different ways that you can transition from one side to the other when you are already stepped aside. That's something for the next tutorial series. What do the different transitions actually do? Obviously it makes a difference whether or not you release the arms completely or you go from the left side to the right instantly. Also, I mentioned before, this exercise is called clenching the fist, and sometimes also clenching the fist and sparkling with the eyes. It really depends on what you want to do. If you really want to boost up your energy and get going, then it's a good thing that at the moment when you are on the side and when you build up the tension, you actually try to open up your eyes as far as possible and stare in the direction where you're actually clenching the fist. Once again, as soon as you release that, the eyeballs and your whole eyelid area has to relax again. And if you don't do that, it will still have an energizing effect, but it won't push the energy that much upwards. So if you do this exercise without the sparkling of the eyes, it will still give you a lot of energy, but one that is a lot calmer of its quality, a lot more centered, still powerful, still something that has to do with movement, still something that has to do with getting things done. But it will, in general, be a lot more comfortable, a lot more calm. So if you are in a situation, for instance, where you don't know whether or not you might get angry, but still you need a lot of energy, I wouldn't do this exercise with sparkling of the eyes. I just simply would do the exercise within the range of all the others, all the 8 other exercises without sparkling of the eyes. It will give you all the energy you need, but it won't give you this outburst aspect. Sometimes that's good to have, sometimes that's good to train this aspect, this very young, very extroverted aspect as well. Well, the energy, you build it up anyway. It's just the kind of expression changes a little bit whether or not you include the eyes consciously in this movement. So once again, I run you through this exercise, just a short version of it. From here, gonna turn, step to the side, bring the arms into my body, turn to the left, sink back to the front, build up tension, release. Bring the right arm up, turn to the left, release. Come back to the center, left foot to the right, standing up, stepping to the right side, right arm out. Now you have the tension, releasing. And right at the end, you have the tension and release. And then you come back, take your step to the left foot, and then stand up. Or go on with going to the left, going to the right, as long as you wish for. Now, there is a very interesting thing in this exercise, and that's the breathing. This time, we have an exhalation, obviously, when we have the tension in the body. So we have an inhaling, an exhaling, we have inhalation, and that is going to be the whole movement where my arm actually leaves the body. That's all an exhalation until you release the tension. That's an inhalation again. Now, the main thing here, even though we're tensing up at the end, make sure not to hold your breath for too long, maybe just a split second. But then, as the tension gets released, the breath goes on as well. It's very important that this spring aspect also goes for the breathing. So once again, I have an inhalation until here, until my arm is in the position to push out. Exhalation. Inhalation until my arm is in the right position to push out. Exhalation. Inhalation. Exhalation. Standing up. Inhalation until my arm is in the right position. Exhalation. In and exhalation and inhalation and exhalation back to the middle. All right, so that's the whole movement, the whole movement of the 7th exercise. Just one thing to make sure. If you look at it from the side just for a second, when I'm out here, never ever is my spine curved in any direction. So from here, when I come out and I have this tension of the body, make sure that your spine is up and straight and not bent in either direction, not to the front and not to the rear. So from this position, you're just in a perfect position, you're just in a perfect structure with your sacrum tucked under a little bit, but not using your belly muscles to actually push the pelvis to the front, just naturally sink between the legs. You have the perfect structure. As soon as your spine comes either to the front or to the rear, and you build up tension, it will do you no good in the spinal column. So really make sure that when you're here, before you tense up, that all your joints, your whole spinal column is in absolutely perfect structural position, then you can tense. If you're not 100% certain whether or not you're already having the right structure, don't bother, just do one thing, start with a little bit of tension and not with too much of it. Just a little bit of tension, and release again, so that your body really gets the idea of what it should do, when it should do what. Don't overdo it. Don't try to do the movement for the first time and do it right at the first time. It's good if it's possible, and if not, it's not really a big deal. It's no problem whatsoever. Okay, once again, wish you all the best. Hope you have enjoyed it. For further details on this exercise and all the other exercises, I'm going to run through it in the advanced version, slightly advanced version, and then instructor version later on. If you have any questions, anything that you're not clear about how to do the movement, leave it in the comment box or contact me directly. As soon as I know there is something where you might have further questions, I make sure to do another video series, or you can contact me directly for international workshops or whatever, where we can actually meet up in person or via Skype. There is a lot of options around today. Wish you all the best, have a wonderful time, make sure to subscribe and take care. Bye.